If you follow the plan in my new TIG Welding textbook here, you are going to be ahead of 99% of welders in like 6 months. And this book here today is the first day that you can actually get your hands on it. It's a beautiful, brand new hardcover textbook, and we're going to use this book today a ton to follow along with. Now, if you're learning to TIG weld or you're kind of just trying to get better without a solid plan, here is what is going to happen. Unfortunately, you're going to be wasting a lot of shop practice materials as well as your time. You're going to be getting welds that look a lot different from one another every time you try it. It's going to be really tough to build confidence as well as consistency with your welding. And what happened to me is I kept watching people blow right past me while I was stuck in the same rut without being able to improve. Seriously, when I was trying to go through school, a lot of the resources that we had to follow along with were incredibly vague. Textbooks and the learning material that we had to use was so boring and so outdated. And honestly, with some of the practice work that I would look at, it looked like I was trying to weld blindfolded. I wanted to help people get around this same problem that I got stuck on for years. So I've mapped everything out for you. What we're going to go over here is a 6-month plan that's going to help get you to where you want to be. What we're going to do is break this down into months. The first thing that we're going to go over here is months 0, so from when we're just starting out, to month number 2. We're going to cover the fundamentals. Now, I'm sure a lot of people can strike up a decent arc and run some passes, but what we're going to do is we're going to go over these fundamental details with a fine-tooth comb at this level. And again, for people who are getting into this with no prior experience, first of all, welcome. And this is going to be the best way to get you going with a good plan. Now, my book, you're going to be able to see things mapped out week by week. You are going to start out with the most basic stuff and most importantly, how to properly understand and break down the results that you see. But after you get a good understanding of your machine and how to set it up and what is necessary to actually learn, you're going to go over the torch setup and everything included with your gear. And then what we're going to do is start out with one of the best exercises. You guys hear me talk about this all the time on my channel. This will be the stringer bead. Now at this level, one of the most important and hugely vital things that people need to learn how to do is to properly and correctly learn to feed the filler material. For example, comment below. Let me know if you have a decent amount of welding experience, yet still have problems feeding the filler material comfortably. It's all good. Absolutely no shame to this. It's very common. But this is what this chapter in the book is going to thoroughly help you out to understand and learn to do properly. And by the way, one of the cool things about this book here, it comes with this cool little bookmark here. You scan the code on it with your phone, which are all individually signed personally by me for this first run, by the way. And what this is going to do is open up a complete video course that follows each chapter in the book page by page. This is really a way that I want to make sure that everybody can not only get the experience of the textbook going through this program, but they can also get the experience of being in the classroom on demand anytime they need. The idea is everything is done literally from the first page in the book all the way to the absolute last page, and it's all done in order to help you learn efficiently. Again, following along with the blueprint in this book here, as well as accompanied by the video lessons. Great way that you can watch a demonstration from each exercise that we're talking about in the book, learn to break down and properly understand your work for good feedback, as well as just making sure you get the most out of each week as you progress through the strategy in this curriculum. For example, with the lesson of the stringer bead that I mentioned, you're going to be focusing on arc control, heat management, and consistency. This is where the major bulk of our consistency with your welding is going to be learned. You're going to be able to track every practice that you do with good quality photos, as well as you can also take video of your work. And this is going to help you to see the quality of your arc as well as your bead stability improve over time. This is going to help you to start building muscle memory really well at this stage. Obviously, you're going to be learning like filler material timing, torch angles, and all that stuff. But the real major stuff that you're going to be establishing is going to be puddle size and making sure we get good starts every time we do a pass. Making sure that you can correctly and efficiently and comfortably get the filler material into the puddle clean. We don't want any globs or anything weird like that. And then as you're traveling along, comfortably feeding as you advance. Use the 8-week program in this book as your roadmap, your strategy, your blueprint. You're going to make sure that each chapter's milestones are checked off before moving on to the next one. Through these 8 weeks, you're going to be able to do all the joints in the book here, as well as knowing more about breaking down your own work for feedback than you would ever learn in school. It's a bold claim, but honestly, it's true. Now, once you finish the 8-week fundamental period of this plan today, we're We're gonna then move on to months 3 and 4. Very important here. This is massive. What we're gonna do is learn more advanced geometry and fit up. Now, when you've cleared the curriculum in the book here, this is where things get really next level. I would encourage somebody to hit up the next phase of learning, where you are gonna start to experiment with more challenging joint configurations and the joint setup and the precision with preparing it. At this point, I would really encourage you to experiment with more ambitious practice coupon fit up, proper edge preparation, more strategic tacking, and even kind of like origami type weld out projects. I covered this stuff a couple months ago on my channel, and these are some of the most challenging welding projects, just simply because they can really challenge your ability to properly fit up and correctly tack your projects together. And you can look at these projects, you can see that they are all actually done with just basic welding coupons. You can literally cut these out and put them together using just basic practice plate or scrap, but it literally changes your ability to properly cut, clean and prepare, and then correctly assemble your project. And this is just the setup. This isn't even into the welding stuff yet. The reason why I would really encourage somebody to get to this level here is that what it's gonna do is gonna start to build on the actual technical stuff that you learned in the previous couple months in the book. But now we're gonna try and add and introduce some real world applications. If your prep and project alignment sucks, the welding is gonna be much more difficult. Getting to do a project like this is where you're gonna really start to learn how to fine tune these details before you even strike an arc. It's almost like the actual welding stuff that you learn in this book comes kind of second hand. Like I say, with a lot of real world applications, it's more about the kind of like fabrication, assembly, and alignment with stuff like this. And then if that's done correctly, then you get to do what you do best with the weld part. And again, the links to these videos are in the description below. These creative builds are going to help to train your brain to see the weld before you actually strike an arc. There's a million variations that you could make up, and this is a time period where you're really going to learn to work on bringing what you've learned in the fundamental stage to a higher level of advanced joint prep and fit up. And then literally after just a few months at this point, you're going to now be at a stage that it honestly takes a lot of people decades to reach. Now, for the home stretch here, we're gonna do the last month. This will be months 5 to 6. We are gonna build some functional projects. What you're gonna do is build some small functional projects for stuff that you just want around the shop. You can make brackets to hold all your extension cords properly on the wall or something. You can weld up boxes with lids to keep all your practice materials in and keep stuff free from contaminant. You can obviously tell I'm just making up these ideas as I go. But this is where somebody usually just starts to get creative with just making stuff. It starts out with simple little projects like I just mentioned, but it's a great way to segue into some more serious projects for yourself as well. At this point, I would recommend that somebody start experimenting with like mild steel and stainless steel. What you're gonna do at this point is you're gonna start to see and learn how each reacts differently compared to what you've learned so far. This is going to be hard at first again, but now you understand how the arc should behave, and to help, you're also gonna have a great feel for the filler rod too. And the cool thing is that whenever you drop back to keep touching on with the aluminum stuff that you're familiar with, and again, like everything that we've learned in the book so far, you might notice that you have gotten way better with aluminum. Taking strategic steps like this to kind of bounce around between like stainless, mild steel, and aluminum at this point, what this is going to do is start to make the familiar seem easier to you. I hear from a lot of my students who have reached this point who say that this is a point where they start to really kind of feel things actually click. Now, during this time, I also recommend that it is time to start deciding on what you want to specialize in. We want to pick a lane. With welding, you have a million opportunities. Which direction would you like to head with it? You can work on pipe welding. You can do aluminum stuff. You can do precision fabrication, motorsports. You can even work on starting to build and create your own shop to start your own business. You can do artistic work, whatever you want at this point. Like I said, you have so many options for career paths and the way that you can use welding. Focus the projects and stuff that you are making for yourself kind of around this niche where you want to end up. And then what's going to happen, combined with the original practice that you keep up with, you're going to start to see compounding results. If you want to get into fabrication or custom TIG welding jobs, I would recommend build a sick rack for your truck or whatever. You can make a few of them, you can sell them to your friends, whatever. This is where somebody's really going to start to learn like how to work with dimensional control, controlling distortion. You're going to start to utilize clamping, making fixtures or jigs. Again, all the things that kind of come hand in hand with making bigger projects that have to fit kind of like nicely on customized stuff. It's kind of funny actually. You notice like when a lot of my students start getting to this level. Out in the parking lot, everybody's trucks start looking way more customized. It's awesome. You can see this one that I made for my old truck here. When working with projects like this, you get to work with tighter tolerances and better aesthetics, and you start to get much better results with how good the welding looks at this point. Kind of like the second phase of what we talked about here with advanced geometry and fit up. We're going to take the fundamentals that we learned in the book and we're going to push them even further. And at this point, one thing I would recommend to you is document everything you do. You want to take photos of absolutely everything, videos while you're welding it, or just to document kind of what you're working on. For myself, building my business, this has been a massively big thing for me. I know I just said massively big. And if you can, after you finish making something for someone else, get photos of it in action. This is all good stuff to keep for your portfolio. Now, next steps. You can either go for certification or even using this to build some side income. If you are career focused, seek your certifications. Which schools will test and issue these certifications for you to take? If you're a hobbyist turned side hustler, start taking on small paid commission. And again, document everything for your resume, portfolio, whatever you want to call it. By this point, roughly 6 months, you have reached an advanced level of TIG welding aluminum. And now you've got a really good idea of where you want to head with the craft. But here's the thing, it's not about just grinding every day. Now, like we've talked about, everything like as far as strategy and all the different exercises that you can do up to this point, this is going to get you to a really advanced level of TIG welding. And again, like in the grand scheme of things, 6 months is nothing. If you are planning this out and following a strategy, you're gonna crush it. But again, what are some even more really advanced things that you can do to set yourself apart? Here's some next level stuff most people won't do. Schedule just 30 minutes of deliberate practice a day. And this is going to be done with a specific focus in mind even before you start your first weld. You do not need 5 hours of practice a day. You need 30 minutes of hyper-focused practice. That's it. For example, let's take the lap joint exercise, which theoretically you can do very well by now. But let's take this to another level. This is something I've shown before. This is called the split direction weld. This is going to be awesome because you're going to get a chance to do half of it in a normal underhand grip position. And then what you're going to do is flip the piece around and you're going to do it with an overhand grip. You can just see from these dry runs here the difference between the two grips. It's quite a bit actually. You can also do this with literally any other joint that you learn in the book here. But theoretically, all you're going to be doing is looking for an opportunity to try and do these halves in each type of grip and then looking at it after the fact and really comparing the differences that you see. This is going to help you to build consistency. Take weekly photos of your work, review, and practice more of what you see. For example, if you're doing the split direction weld a couple times a week, just take photos of it every time you practice. And over time, you're going to start to look back on those photos and you're going to be able to see the small details that you've made improvements to over time. Learn to enjoy the practice of repetition. And again, it can be a high level, really detailed and tricky weld. Whoops. Or a super simple one like something like the butt joint. The boring beads is honestly where the magic happens a lot of the time. Track your inputs, photograph your work. If you're not measuring, you're guessing. Measure the overall width from start to finish. Is it consistent? If you're doing something like a butt joint or an outside corner joint, look at the penetration. Is it consistent? And the best thing is that as you start to discover problems, this is an opportunity where you can learn. Identifying and learning from problems is one of the most important things. That's why I have a whole chapter in the book completely devoted to troubleshooting and understanding problems like this with your welding. Now, this next point is something that I think can benefit a lot of people who are trying to learn on their own. This is a way that you can find a community or some source of accountability. This can be a shop where you're learning with other people, like a school setting or something like that. Someone you can get a hold of even online who's at a similar level. Someone online who's willing to give you feedback and help you out. Anywhere you can link up with people kind of on the same point in their journey with the same amount of enthusiasm that you have. Mentors can help you out a lot. They can give you feedback and they can help you out really quickly if you're stuck. For example, with my book, like we talked about with scanning the barcode on the bookmark, this is going to give you immediate access to an online group or community where we all can share our work with one another. You can post your pictures for feedback. We can all share wins as we go through the different exercises together. And the cool thing is it's kind of built like a private social media place where we can all kind of comment on each other's stuff with positivity and enthusiasm. No haters there, I promise. I'm going to be in there. I'm going to be hanging out with everybody who grabs a book, and we can even plan the odd time that we're going to meet up online for a video call. We can do Q&As, hang out and stuff like that. It's a way that I can help kind of contribute and provide even more support with the community that I'm building with this book here. Seriously, I want this textbook to be the textbook that ends all textbooks. No one's done anything like this in the welding community before, and this is all unapologetically, authentically me. Most people, when they start to learn TIG welding, they do not suck. A lot of people get stuck and they just quit too early, or without support or community, they just kind of spin their wheels and don't end up going anywhere. This is how you avoid being stuck and making the most of your practice time, and how you can progress to a high level. Now, I've given you the plan. Go grab one of these books and start getting to work. And honestly, there is a very limited amount of these books that I had printed for this first run. So go get yours right now before they run out. They might even be sold out already. And if that's the case, I apologize. There will be more coming. I've also got a ton of other stuff on my website. As you guys know, there's free classes, free workbooks you can download. Go get them. Do a random act of kindness for a stranger today. My name is Dusty James. Phil and Chill. We'll talk soon. Peace.